Yeah, well, let's name one name, which is Charlie Munger. Tell us what happened there.
Yeah, I was just in my office one day a few months after the book came out, and my assistant tells me that I have a call and that it's Charlie Munger, and I was like, "Come on, don't mess with me. That's not funny." But then turns out it was Charlie Munger, and he just wanted to talk about the book, and actually thought it would be awesome if I made it into a movie. And it was one of the most surreal 30 minutes of my life to talk to one of my heroes to about a book that I wrote that I wasn't sure anyone would ever read.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. You must have thought it was like Bill or Toby messing with you or something.
I thought for sure somebody was messing with me. Like, yeah, what
Yeah,
are the chances? I mean, just seems so vanishingly small.
yeah. Is there anything else you're happy to share, kind of from that call with Charlie?
Well, you know what? Probably the weirdest part of it, the whole thing, was that this was like 2019 ish, and I had been lamenting in my quarterly letters to clients that I was having a hard time finding things to buy at that point that made sense to me. Those no brainers that I talked about, being
Mm.
opportunistic about. And he told, apparently Charlie had gone back and read some of my letters because he said, if you, I'd be more worried about you if you were finding lots of good ideas right now. So somehow, I don't know, he found time to read some of my letters as well before we chatted on the phone, which is even probably a smaller chance that that ever happened than the book. So
Yeah, that's got to feel absolutely insane.
yeah.
Do you know how how he stumbled across you, or did you send him the book, or do you know how that all actually started?
Yeah, I did send him a copy of the book. I sent it
Hmm.
to people who were influential because he's like this main the kind of, well, actually, so just to back up a little bit, like the book is modeled basically after the Karate Kid as the storyline would play out, except imagine that Daniel-san is trying to learn about capital allocation from Mr. Miyagi. And so the old Mr. Miyagi character is an amalgamation of Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger and uh, a bunch of my business heroes basically kind of rolled into one. And like, what would they say if they were asked these questions by someone who's younger and just trying to learn the ropes?
Very cool. How did that idea for taking that approach to writing an investment book actually start?
Well, I originally sketched out a nonfiction book, as you'd probably expect for a topic like capital allocation, and it just seemed like it was going to be so boring. Like I couldn't even want to read it. And so that was, looking for stories as a way to make it more interesting. I One day I was just sitting and thinking like, well, who's good at telling stories? And I thought, well, Hollywood, right? So I actually read a couple books on screenplays, and then I used what I learned in that screenplay writing books to then sketch out like actually like scene by scene of the book of how it would play out. Like I had it on like 3x5 index cards, as you would do a screenplay. And so that was how the flow of the story was sort of constructed. And then I could just sprinkle the lessons within there to have like a building up of knowledge for the main character.
Love it. And do you feel like that's a project you'll ever, is there going to be a Rebel Allocator too, or
Oof.
you feel like you've ticked that off and you're
Yeah,
happy that you've
it'd
achieved
be
what you
real
want to?
really difficult because that book had 20 years worth of things that I'd stumbled across that I thought were smart and interesting, and I condensed down into that story. I like it's going to take me so long to fill that hopper back up to where I could feel like I had anything that was remotely as important. And maybe I'm it's possible I might never, because of just sort of the law of diminishing returns. Like I probably found most of the important things already.
Hmm.
Um, that the idea of getting as much of that again filled up is like so daunting. It's hard to imagine doing it again.
Yeah, fair enough. I asked William Green a very similar a question about Richer Wiser Happier 2.0, and
Yeah.
there was sort of like a look of horror that just went across his face around how daunting that would be. It's like 20 plus years of interviews, into a few
Exactly.
hundred pages. Yeah,
Same issue that I would feel if I tried to
yeah,
tackle that project.
yeah, 100%. If you enjoyed this clip, check out the full episode here and subscribe here. Thanks for watching.